Today gets real, my friend. When will you be financially free? When will you be able to retire? When will you be able to re-own your life on your terms and live life the way that you want, with who you want, when, how you want, whatever that looks like? Well, listen, for most of us, it is such an overwhelming question that what we end up doing is we just end up burying our head in the sand and just staying at the job and just trying to keep food on the table, paying our bills, and maybe getting ahead a little bit. I'm telling you right now, that pattern needs to end today. When you're going to be able to retire, honestly, here's the cool part. It is a mathematical equation. And I've done something that will actually make it super easy for you. In fact, at the end of this video, you can click the link in the description below, jam with my team, and I'm going to give you access to my custom-made financial freedom calculator. This is going to tell you exactly when you're going to retire. What I want to do here, though, is I want to give you the math and help you understand some of what that gift really means. First of all, for you to be financially free, it comes down to your definition of what freedom is. For most people, you have to know what your expenses are, and then you have to produce a passive income, an income that comes in whether you work or not, that exceeds your expenses. So for example, if my expenses are $5,000 a month, when can I be financially free? Well, if I'm trading dollars and hours and I'm working 40 hours a week at my job and then I make $50,000 a year, that is the cost of my freedom. For me to actually not have to spend 40 hours of my life working for somebody else, how much do I need? I need $5,000 a month. So here's the equation. This is big because most people don't understand this. Most of us are stuck in an accumulation mindset thinking, I'll save enough money and then I'll be free. That's never going to happen. Look at this pile of cash right here. Okay, this is a small amount of money. I'm getting ready to use it for another video that I'm shooting. But when you take a look at this, people are like, wow, if I had a big enough stack, I'd be free. I want to ask you a question. Right now, I write you a check for $1 million. Or I give you $10,000 a month, every month, for the rest of your life, and then I'll even give it to your heirs after you die. Which would you rather have? $1 million? $10,000 a month? Which is choose? Well, accumulation mindset says, take the million. There's a problem with taking the million. When you have $1 million, you're going to elevate your standard of living. You're going to start living off of at least $100,000 a year. And if you spend $100,000 a year, guess what happens after 10 years? It's gone. $1 million is gone. Meanwhile, $10,000 a month is more than $100,000 a year, and it never expires. So the secret to your financial freedom comes down to this. Most people don't get this. Right now, you're learning from a multimillionaire this insight that we've got to be teaching in our schools. Just mind-numbing that we're not, which is you've got to learn how to produce interest off your investments that exceeds your expenses. Here's what that means. $5,000 a month. How much money do I need producing a spin-off from interest to produce $5,000 a month? Let me give you an example. Let's say that you actually had, dude, you're gonna love this, because freaking dude, by the end of this video, I'm not just gonna give you the calculator, I'm gonna show you how easy it is to make that happen. Like crazy, crazy awesome. Okay, first of all, gotta calm down, because I'm like so excited for you, because I know it's coming. I just gotta slow down for a second, and I gotta make sure that you understand this. If you had $1 million, and if that $1 million was producing 10% a year, 10% on $1 million is $100,000 a year. $100,000 a year is $8,000 a month. Is that bigger than this? Yes. This is what you live off of, the interest, not this. Most of us will put money in a 401k, in an IRA, try to pay off our house. And then guess what happens at retirement? The only way we live is we eat off of it because it doesn't produce this. It doesn't, it's crazy. We're not people, we're sheeple. We're like giving our money to the freaking financial planners of the world that are planning for your failure and demise. It's crazy. Don't do that. There's only one person on this planet that's ever going to care about you and your financial independence, and it's you. It's not them. They don't have a plan for you to financially succeed. Their plan would be like, yes, my systems that have really sucky ROIs will work if you have millions of dollars, and most people are not. So here's the real question. How do you get $1 million real fast? This is why I love real estate. I go find myself a sweet, cozy little home First home that I ever did, maybe you remember me telling you about it. In fact, let me tell you about my second one. Second house I did, I bought this house. What I owed on it, what I purchased it for, was around, it was $150,000. But this house at the time had a value of $230,000. So I bought it for $150,000, but it was worth $230,000. What is the delta? What is the difference on that? It is $80,000. Now, by the way, that house, I did my lease option system on it, which you can also learn about if you click in the description below. And on this guy, check it out. I got paid $5,000 up front. I got paid $600 every single month in residual income. By the time I sold this house years later, I made like $130,000 on it. If I made just $100,000 on this house, how many homes do I need to do to make $1 million? 10. What a small number. It's weird. I got 10 toes. God gave me 10 fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $1 million. Like, that's the cool thing about real estate. Can you do 10 transactions to get $1 million, to produce 10% and $8,000 a month to retire on a basic 6-figure residual income? Heck yeah, you can. You just need the right mentor, you need the right system, and you need the right training. If you're doing, let me tell you about this calculator that you can access entirely for free. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to want to know, have you put money in 401ks or have you put money in IRAs? I'm going to want to know, have you been putting money under the mattress? Do you have a house or are you renting right now? And here's the cool part. No matter where you're at in your life, if you are getting ahead financially or whether you're starting deep in debt like I did, whether you've got a great paying job or a horrible paying job, whether you're still in college, whether you're in high school, I don't care how old you are, and I don't care how much money you have. What I care about is that you have the hunger, the drive, and the desire to be free, because that's who I work with. I want to work with men and women who have a desire to be free to live life on their terms, okay? If you've got that desire, you got that drive, this calculator will ask you your financial questions. Don't be ashamed. Pop everything in there and then send it off to my team, and 2 things are going to happen when you click that link. Number 1, I'll give you the calculator for free so you get all the information. But 2, I'm going to have my team contact you. And what they're going to do is they're going to say, okay, based on the specific information, here are your first steps to becoming financially free. And that's the best gift that I can give anyone, is a greater enhanced perception to understand where you're at versus where you want to go and what you can do to bridge the gap. In the end, this is really simple math. And I want you to watch this video again. I want you to subscribe, and I want you to be watching the daily videos so that you can increase your knowledge. But I want you to watch this again, and I want to make sure you can keep up with me. If you can do all the math that I did in this video, then you are smart enough to know when you're going to be financially free. And when you're done doing your math, this is what you're going to be left with. I got to figure out how to get houses that can produce this, and enough of them so that I can possess financial independence. Dude, it's not about being rich. Right now, my wife and I, we're stepping into one of the coolest places of our life. We just came back from this training event together, and we're planning this next year of our life, and we made a decision that we've been wanting to make for years. My wife and I, there's a number of things that we dreamed of for our life together. Number 1, we wanted to give our children a world-class education, which meant educating them in the world and not a classroom. So traveling the world together and giving them exposure to other peoples and ways of life. Check, we're doing that. The other thing that we've wanted to do is I want to be a billionaire philanthropist. We want to define our lives in terms of giving back to people and how powerfully. And so we've decided for this next year that we're ready to start our foundation, and every month we're going to be donating a big part of our profits and just giving back to the world. We're going to be picking 12 different causes, one for every single month, so that I get to support Underground Railroad and freeing women from sex slavery. We get to help feed people in the world that have the hardest time coming by food, that are literally still dealing with starvation. You know, my son has autism, so we get to support the research and the medical industry to help continue finding solutions for that. It's time to give back, and we've got the ability to give back in some of the coolest ways. But we're only in this position because of the information that I am sharing with you. So you need to know, you need to have a hunger of what's gonna drive. In the beginning, it was, I wanna freaking be free because I don't want no boss to tell me what I can and can't do. I wanna live life on my terms. Like, why was I growing up in a century here where, we've got all this technology and privilege and opportunity, and I'm sitting in a cubicle? I'm done with that. I'll never go back to that. I'd rather die. Apologize if that was insensitive, but like, I can't go back. I've been breathing fresh, free air now for 13 years. And I'm telling you, when you taste it, you'll never want to go back either. And you're smart enough. You're smart enough to watch this channel and do the math that I'm sharing, then you're smart enough to figure these things out. You just need a mentor and a team that can help you along the way. Which is why, wherever you're at, no matter what your motivation, if it's freedom, if it's giving back, if it's philanthropy, bottom line is we're all in a game of evolution. And that evolution is never going to end until we die. You and I, our game is to see how far, how many levels that we can beat, what level of guild we can get to. I want to be a level 32 Magi Wizard next year. Okay, I'm joking. But the idea is I want to level up my life and I want to get as far as I can. And you know what? I'm done with my selfish life. I'm done living just for me and my own financial needs. This is time for a way bigger picture, which is also why I produce this channel for you and for your benefit. So if you're ready to figure out when your financial day is going to be, if you want to know when you're going to be financially free, click the link in the description below and fill out the information. We're going to send you the calculator so that you can tear it apart and you can know the math. And then my team's going to contact you. We're going to give you your first steps towards financial freedom. And I'm going to look forward to the day when I get to meet you at one of my events and I get to give you a deal maker hat and congratulate you on achieving your financial independence.